What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in once again. This is still Knick fans draft prospect breakdown of one Mr. Kai Sato or Soto, however you want to say it. This is part two. If you remember, we did a part one and we talked about Kai Sato, and there was some initial information that was put out there that I saw from different reviews of player scouts that took a look at Kai and talked about not only his skill set but his attributes. However, in the course of doing that video, getting feedback from a lot of people who are fond of Kai and watch his game on a day-to-day basis when he was in the Australian League, turns out some of that information was out of date. Kai has grown since then, physically as well as, in basketball terms, like his skill set has developed a lot more since then. And so some of the information that was put out there didn't necessarily track as well. For Kai these days, the way he looks, the way he plays the game. So, and I appreciate. Thank you to all the Filipino people that love Kai and watch his game, and definitely let me know some things about him that I wasn't aware of at the time. And since then, I've taken another look at Kai, and I think I have a better idea of what he does as far as basketball goes. I've learned more about him as a player. I think as a person. I think he is, seems to be a really nice kid, a young person. I don't want to say kid because he's a young man. Let's say that he's a really nice young man, and he's gained the respect of a lot of people who have come into contact with him. That being said, this video is more of, it's a little bit of a breakdown of Kai, obviously, and certain things that he can work on and build upon. But this is more of a comparison video because I think that, the Knicks had a player by the name of Kristaps Porzingis, who was a 7'3" center. We deemed him the unicorn because of all the different things he could do. Being so tall, it was quite shocking and quite surprising because there's not many people that have that type of length that are as versatile on the offense and the defensive end as Kristaps Porzingis. Unfortunately, things didn't work out with the New York Knicks because of other issues. Kristaps was starting to become a star in the league. And he had, his agent situation with his family. They wanted certain things that I guess at the time the Knicks weren't able to provide. Kristaps decided that he wanted to pursue other avenues. They worked out something with the Dallas Mavericks, and they wound up trading Kristaps Porzingis to the Dallas Mavericks for Dennis Smith Jr. And some very nice draft picks. Well, we'll see how nice those picks are. The Knicks still retain Dallas's 2023 pick for next year's draft. We'll see what that becomes or how they use that. So, I think when you look at Kai Sato, I think that he has a chance to really become a valuable piece for an NBA team. Of course, I'd love if the New York Knicks were able to pick him up maybe in the second round. But if he doesn't wind up with the New York Knicks, I still see him being a very good, solid player for an NBA team. And depending on his skill set, how he's developed, his work ethic, and everything he does to get better, he could turn into a star player. Let's take a look at what I think is important for Kai to work on. First off, I think that he really needs to continue to get stronger. I think that's an obvious thing that most people see when you look at him. He does have a thin frame. Um, he's not skin and bones. He's not like a stick figure. He actually has a little bit of weight to him, but he's still a very slim player for being. Um, so going back to what I said, as far as him getting stronger, I think he needs to work on getting stronger, upper body, lower body, most importantly, lower body. He definitely needs to work on that. He is a person that I think has good footwork, even though he may not be the fastest at his position. I think he can move pretty well, but he definitely needs to continue to work on his footwork and his positioning to be in the best possible position to do things on the defensive end that will help an NBA team. Now, one of the things that the New York Knicks loved about Kristaps Porzingis was the fact that for being so tall, I mean, the guy moved around the court really well. And a lot of that is because when he was a young player, Kristaps actually learned how to play point guard. He was groomed as a point guard, even being, a more lengthy player. And as he learned how to play point guard over time, when he was going through, his high school years, that age and getting old, he shot up, like his height just sprouted. So you're talking about a young man who has point guard skills and learned to be a point guard, but now all of a sudden he's so tall that he doesn't fit the point guard, physical stature anymore. He's basically outgrown being a point guard because of his height, but he still practiced and learned that way. So I think that helped him a lot because he learned how to maneuver on the court in different ways that you don't see from most big men, right? And then on the defensive end, his footwork was phenomenal, I think, personally, because I looked at, you take a look at old video of him when he was coming up in the European League, or you look at how he was when he first joined the New York Knicks. I mean, his defensive attitude on the court was aggressive. He has good footwork. He has great timing as far as being there to make a block. Like, Kristaps really worked hard at his craft, and I think that is something that you can't take away from him, and that's part of the reason why other players in the NBA, like there's a stigma attached to European players or players that play overseas, that they're not as physically gifted as some of the players in the States, or they're not as strong will-minded, like they're softer and they don't come with that physical presence that you would expect from basketball in the NBA. And I think when it comes to Kristaps, he had that fire. Like, you could see it with him. Like, he would go into the lane, dunk on you. He's doing putback dunks. He's blocking your shot into the stands. Like, he just had a different type of way he played basketball. And I think Kai can definitely learn from Kristaps when it comes to that. Kai has good defensive principles. He just needs to become a little bit more aggressive. In the NBA, you're going to go up against players that know how to get to the basket on the drop of a dime. They have great first steps. The way they finish dunking, layups. There's a lot of different ways that these guys approach the rim, and you're going to have to be able to attack these guys, but they're attacking the rim aggressively. So on the defensive end, you have to do the same exact thing on the opposite end. And I think Kai is just at a point where is as good as he is currently on defense, there's room for improvement because of the fact that he needs to show more aggression. His footwork needs to get a little better. He needs to be quicker to spots. That's why positioning is important. Strength is important. So that way he's able to hold his ground when he's down low. He's not pushed out of the paint so that guys have an open lane. He's able to command that presence and stay there and really affect the game on the defensive end. On the offensive end, I think that Kai also needs to show a little bit more aggression on that side as well. Now, I said in the past that he needed to be a little bit more aggressive with shooting, the outside shot, and being able to control the game and really go get it, go get his points and take control of what's going on the basketball court. Now, at that time, I didn't really know that when you look at, Kai's time in the NBL, his coaching staff, they played the game a certain way, and they really limited Kai as to what he can do. And they didn't necessarily love the fact that they didn't want him taking a whole bunch of outside shots. They had a system in place for their offense, and they like to run that system and have everybody buy into that. All the players have to buy into that system and move the ball, but they, and not go too far outside of that. And Kai fit into that because Kai is a good team player. He did what the coaching staff wanted him to do, and that was fine. The other thing about Kai is that when you look at his numbers, he shot 50% from the field. He shot 38% from three, and he shot 68% from the free throw line. 68% from the free throw line is not horrible. I'd like that number to go up a little bit because I think he has the ability to be in the 70s when it comes to free throw shooting. He's got good touch on his shot, good follow through, good form. I think he should be fine. But when you look at that, he averaged 7.6 points per game, 4.48 total rebounds, a half of an assist, a little, maybe not under a steal, so he wasn't big in the passing lanes and stealing the ball from players. And he averaged 0.74 blocks, so a little less than a block a game. For somebody who's 7'2", who has the ability that Kai has, he definitely should be able to be somewhere in between 1 and 2 blocks. So he should average closer to 2 blocks a game. And he only played 15. He averaged 15 minutes a game. So if you look at those numbers that he put up and you give him, instead of 15 minutes, give him, 25 or 30 minutes, somewhere in between 25 and 30 minutes, you can almost double these numbers. So Kai then winds up averaging around 14 or 15 points, around 9 or 10 blocks, 10 rebounds a game, should I say, and then one assist a game, maybe almost a steal a game, and almost 2 blocks a game. So that translates a lot better. And that is the type of production that I think Kai could do in the NBA. And it looks a lot closer to what we saw from Kristaps Porzingis. In Kristaps Porzingis' first year in the league, he averaged, in 28 minutes of basketball, he averaged 14 points, right? So right around the number I said with Kai, around 14 or 15. He averaged 7.3 rebounds, and I said that Kai could average around 9 to 10, or maybe, to be fair, maybe 8 rebounds, but that's good. That's good production. And Kristaps averaged 1.3 assists and 1.9 blocks with 0.7 steals. So, yeah, I think Kai can give you similar numbers to that if he plays around in between 25 and 30 minutes a game. Also, now, the thing about Kristaps is what made him so special is obviously on the defensive side, but on the offensive side, really good shooter, should I say. He shot 33% in his first season from 3. He shot 42% from the field. Now, mind you, Kristaps is more of a jump shooter. So, unlike other big men that live in the paint and everything is a dunk or a layup, he did a lot more shooting. So his number being lower, 42%, is fine because he's a shooter. And obviously, as the years grew, went along, his field goal percentage went up. But he also shot 83% from the free throw line as a rookie in the NBA with the Knicks. That's really good. So as I said, that's what I'm saying. Kai's form and his ability to shoot shows that he can be a much better free throw shooter than he currently is. And I don't have any question about that. I think he can definitely get better at that, and he will given the chance, the opportunity to play basketball with a good amount of minutes. And then obviously work and practice and doing all those things will help him, and he'll continue to get better. Now, another thing that Kristaps Porzingis did, and there's tons and tons of highlights of it with the New York Knicks and with any other team he's been on, is he was very good at putting back putback dunks. I don't want to really see Kai focus on that. What I would love for Kai to do is just to, like I said, build his core, build that strength, footwork on the defensive end, positioning, be a little bit more aggressive with regards to block shots. And when it comes to the offensive end, not necessarily worry about putbacks. If he's able to get a couple putbacks here and there, that's fine. But you don't want it to be how Kristaps used to do it, because a putback dunk in the NBA from a big man is dangerous. It can definitely be something that can affect you as a long, lengthy player running into the painted area with a bunch of players standing there, and you're trying to grab the ball and dunk it in the rim. You might be dunking on someone or whatever, but the point is, there's so much congestion there that the highlight looks great. People love it. But now that player's got to come down and land, and you don't know what you're going to land on. That's why putback dunks are really crazy, because you're going into the lane not knowing what to expect. You're playing the ball. So it's a very dangerous play. And unfortunately, that's why a lot of players can get injured easily, especially big men, just running into that lane, not knowing what you're going to land on after you make that highlight play is dangerous. So I don't need to see Kai worry about that. I just much rather Kai continue to do what he is doing, but do more of it. Work on the mid-range, work on his post moves, because Kai's got some post moves that we've witnessed and seen that look pretty good. He just needs to continue to develop them. Kai gets a lot of alley-oop dunks. There's nothing wrong with that. He can continue to do that. That's fine. That'll be explosive. The fans will love that. You don't necessarily have to run into the lane and do a flashy putback dunk on somebody. Yeah, the fans love it, but we'd much rather see you healthy out there playing good basketball. And we know that you're going to get dunks no matter what. At some point in the game, you'll have your moments and opportunities. So, yeah, I think that's important. But yeah, if there's one thing that I could see that those two players have in common, it's the ability to get these alley-oop dunks, the ability to stretch the floor in the mid-range game, the ability to stretch the floor from the three-point line, and they both have the ability to block a lot of shots. It's just I feel like Kai just needs to be a little bit more aggressive in his approach on the defensive end, and if given the opportunity and on the offensive end, he just needs to let it fly, man. Shoot the shot. I know you were limited in the NBL, but in the NBA, you make the league, go out there and practice, show them what you can do, continue to work on everything. You've got good principles, and I think any NBA team would be fortunate and lucky to have you. I hope it's my New York Knicks at 42, or if we're able to get an earlier pick somehow. I'd love to be able to get Kai Sotto, because I think he would definitely help the New York Knicks and give us back that Kristaps Porzingis type feel that we're missing. We haven't had a center that can really stretch the floor and do the different things that Kristaps could do. And I think Kai Sotto has a chance to be that type of player for us. Shout out to Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel, the Taj Gibsons, the Jericho Simses of the world. But if Kai continues to work, he can give us something that, those guys unfortunately just can't give us. So, yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in once again. I hope that you appreciate the video and the little bit of comparison that I did between the two. Like, I'm not the type that gets real analytical and goes into too much stuff. Other people can give you a much better breakdown because they really watch the X's and O's and forms and different things of that nature. I'm just a basketball fan that likes basketball, and I'm a person who thinks that Kai Sotto could be a NBA player, and I'd love to have him on the New York Knicks. So once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out of here.